What is up, everybody? And as you can tell from the video title below me, it isn't transfer talk today. I wanted to be fair to everybody. Everyone's sick of talking about transfers. I don't like talking about things that I know probably won't come to fruition either. So we thought we'd have a bit of fun today. Connor has put out asking for some unpopular opinions on the Anfield Agenda Instagram. Little bit of a spoiler, I haven't seen these yet, so I'm going to go through each slide one by one, react. I don't even know how many there are, so we'll try and get through them as quickly as we can. Don't forget, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Drop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button. First one, here we go. Fabinho was better than Rodri last season, and that comes in from Liam Stokes from the Instagram. Thank you, Liam. Unfortunately, buddy, I have to disagree with you on this one. I will argue to the death that Fabinho is the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League and one of the best in Europe. But even with that argument, I have to say, I undervalued and underrated Rodri dramatically when Manchester City signed him. And in a classy midfield that Manchester City have with De Bruyne, with Bernardo Silva, and all these really good players, I think he was probably one of their most important, if not the most important last season. Well, maybe De Bruyne, but other than De Bruyne, I think he was a vital player. So I'm going to have to reluctantly disagree. But I will go as far as to say I think Fabinho will be better than him this season. But on that one, mate, I'm going to have to say I think Rodri edges it. Oh, God, that was tough. Next one. Klopp is top 3 Prem managers of all time. If we're talking about Premier League only here, then I'm going to say no, he wasn't. The reason I'm going to say no, he wasn't, was because instinctively you've got to go Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, and it has to be Mourinho. I don't want to admit that. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to give Jose Mourinho any credit. But if we're taking out the European Cups, and I'm basing this off top 3 Prem managers of all time, I think Klopp probably just falls outside it. Guardiola, when Guardiola's time at Manchester City is finished, maybe even now, depending on who you talk to, maybe they'll have Guardiola in there ahead of Arsene Wenger, Jose Mourinho and Sir Alex Ferguson. And maybe it's that I'm a little bit older. But I don't think so. I think one more Prem will squeeze him in there. But I'd like to try and be unbiased in these. He's the best manager Liverpool have had in my lifetime. And I think what he's done at Liverpool has been more impressive than what a lot of other managers have done. But top 3, I'm going to have to say, falls just a little bit short for me just now. Oh, God, again, these are tough. You guys are good. Let's go for the third one. Liverpool won't challenge for the title, and that's from Sean. By the way, I forgot to mention who was the last one. It was from Sam. Thank you, Sam. Right, back to this. Liverpool won't challenge for the title. We will, Sean. I know Sean, actually. I know that handle anywhere. That Sean's a United fan. We will challenge for the title, mate. In fact, a lot of opposition fans should be saying thank you to Liverpool, in all honesty, because without Liverpool, it's becoming it's a one-team league. Nobody's able to put it up to Manchester City the way Liverpool have been in recent years. So I think if anyone's going to challenge them, it's going to be us. Maybe Chelsea, depending on how they do in the market. Spurs, I think, have strengthened their grip on 4th place. But no, we will challenge for the title this season. I'm going to go a little bit further, Sean. I'm going to say Liverpool win the Premier League title this season. And yeah, look, I'm not just saying that reaction to this video. I've thought that for a couple of weeks now. And yeah, so I'm going to go Liverpool to win it. Not just challenge, Sean, to win it. Let's go on to the next one. Phil Foden will become the best English player ever. I suppose it's impossible to measure players through generations because we don't know so many different things. Like the balls are heavier at times. The metrics that players are measured by changes. We've got a lot more information and data on players these days than we had previously. Players are a lot more fit and well looked after than back maybe even in the 90s. So to me, the best English player of all time is Paul Gascoigne, and I don't see Phil Foden, as good as he is, and he's a very, very good footballer, but I don't think, in my eyes, as much as I couldn't give a shiny shit about England, I think Paul Gascoigne will forever have that mantle. And I don't see anybody currently plying their trade that's going to change that. So I'm going to say he won't, because it's going to be Gaza. Next one, again, it's from Sean. 2008 Man United is the best Premier League team of all time. Incorrect. The best Premier League team of all time is the Manchester City team that broke 100 points. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to go in on this one. Some people will say Arsenal's Invincibles. I think that's a joke, to be honest with you. They were a great team and they've done what nobody else has done. But that points tally set by Manchester City, that's the bar. 100 points, greatest team. Kills me to admit it because we got 99. But that's how I measure it. So for me, as impressive as some of those Manchester United teams were, I have to say that Manchester City 100 points tally is the best Premier League team of all time. And I don't really know how you can argue against that because, you know, the points speak for themselves. Next one up. This one comes in from Al the Great. Prime Salah is better than Prime Drogba. Yeah, much better in any metric. Like, I know Chelsea fans have a soft spot for their former players. I'm sick of listening to the Eden Hazard nonsense and the debate around Mohamed Salah. But if you want to drag Drogba into this, I'm a fan. Didier Drogba, great footballer, very impressive, good player, real figurehead of that Chelsea attack back in the day. But just look at the numbers, man. Just look at the goals and assists. If Salah were to go on and win the Golden Boot this season coming up, he'd have 4 Golden Boots in 6 seasons. He's got 3 and 5 as it currently stands. I don't think you can compare. Drogba is a big game player and has won lots of stuff with Chelsea, but the numbers that Mohamed Salah puts up from a wide attacking position, he's not a through the middle striker like Drogba. So, no, I'm going to agree and say Mohamed Salah Prime is absolutely better than Didier Drogba, with the caveat that I do respect Drogba massively. Pep wouldn't succeed at a smaller club. Fact. I don't argue this fact, but I don't think it's something that should be used to knock the man either, because I've long held this belief that somebody has to manage the money-laden club. Somebody has to manage the superstars and the divas. And some managers are just good at it. And Guardiola is good at it. He's a good coach, but he has always had quality players to work with. And I don't think we'll ever find out if he'll be able to cope without an almost blank checkbook. But I also think it's unfair to think that Pep Guardiola is anything other than a really top-tier coach. So do I think he'd succeed at a smaller club? No, I agree. I don't think he would succeed at a smaller club because I think it would be a shock to his system. But then again, what would success be? So I think each club would probably have to be measured on its individual merits. Like if it was Villa, would getting them into the Champions League, that would be a success, surely, but he wouldn't have won that. And so I guess it depends on how we measure it. Haaland will flop at Manchester City. Here's hoping. I think the only thing that potentially would stop Erling Haaland from being a massive success at Manchester City is an injury. And look, he is a great talent. There's no denying. I can't sit here and say otherwise. The man bangs in goals, and at his age, it's quite daunting to know that our rivals for the title are going to have Haaland as a striker. So he'll flop at City. Who's this one from? Sophie. I hope he does, but I think it would be an injury. And if it was an injury, I don't think you could count that as flopping. So here's hoping, but I don't think you're going to be right. I think he'll do well. I think he'll finish second behind Mohamed Salah for the Golden Boot this season as well. Yeah, I said it. Brentford finish bottom without ERIKSEN. That's for Zadrazak. Brentford finish bottom. I don't think so. You look at that Brentford team, and look, Christian Eriksen has helped them massively, and they've helped Christian as well, but they have got a collective spirit about them. Thomas Frank, I've been very impressed with the way he gets Brentford playing. And even their attack, the way they create overloads, the way Ivan Toney and Mbeumo work together, it is impressive. So any team would miss Christian Eriksen's creativity, but I don't think they finish bottom, no. I think they'd stay up. And even if he leaves and goes to United, or maybe signs back out with Brentford, but if he does move on and goes elsewhere, I think Brentford will be all right, Newcastle will finish 5th. Same person again. Newcastle will finish 5th. No, they won't. I think I've been impressed with what Eddie Howe has done there, with the acquisitions and the signings that they've made. I was very impressed with how they finished the season. But to get up to 5th, they're going to have to get past outside of Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea and Spurs. If we all agree for a minute that they probably top 4, then you're looking at them outperforming Manchester United, who have a new manager and probably some new recruits, outperforming Arsenal, who have gone into the market and spent quite well in bringing in Gabriel Jesus and bringing in Fabio Vieira, as well as keeping good players like Odegaard and Saka. I think that's a step too far, and that's before we even move into talking about maybe West Ham and Aston Villa. So I think if Eddie Howe can get them challenging for any European place, be that Europa Conference League or Europa League, I think that'll be a good season. My guess, 7th for Newcastle, and I think that's perfectly acceptable while they're in this building phase. De Bruyne is better than Scholes and Lampard. Yes, I would agree. And the reason I would agree is I've said many times, I think Kevin De Bruyne is the closest thing I've seen to Steven Gerrard in the Premier League. And Steven Gerrard, for me, was head and shoulders above Scholes, the ginger, Mark Noble, and Frank Lampard, the deflection merchant. So, yeah, no argument. Kevin De Bruyne, absolutely head and shoulder above both of them. Oh, I forgot to say who that was from. That was from B_Q with a load of numbers I couldn't be arsed reading. No. Man United won't finish in the top four. How is this snuck in as an unpopular opinion? It's just going to be fact. Look, does anybody outside of Manchester United fans really think that Manchester United this season will finish top four? I can't see it. Not the way Spurs are strengthening. I think Arsenal missed the boat hugely by allowing Spurs to nick in and get that Champions League place. So no, not a hope for me. I don't think there's any way Manchester United get top four. They're very fortunate they're not in the Europa Conference League right now. If West Ham hadn't have made a mess of the last game of the season, Manchester United wouldn't even have Europa League to look forward to this year. So nah, not for me. Everton will end up relegated this season, and that comes in from Benjamin Martin. I'm worried about Everton whilst simultaneously not caring. I'm worried for them, is what I should say. Richarlison, they're going to get 60 million for him, which, fair play, getting that from Spurs. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been missing in action for the second half of the season, and there's talk that they could even lose some of their promising kids. Add that to the annoyance from their fans over the betting sponsors on the front of their shirt, and all the other bits and pieces that goes along with the general Evertoniness of Everton. They could get relegated. I think it's a bit too soon to really make a definitive call because the window's still open and they could pull a sign or two out of the bag. But yeah, if I was an Everton fan, and thank God I amn't, yeah, they could. Right, here's this one from Troy. Says Trent is in the all-time Premier League 11. Yes. I'm going to say yes, and the reason I'm going to double down on saying yes is Gary Neville is probably one of the best right backs in the Premier League, and he's nowhere near Trent's level. Look, I know people are going to laugh and go Gary Neville, but he was part of a really successful Manchester United team and he had that winning mentality, but he didn't define an era. He didn't reinvent a position. You know, you look at Ashley Cole during his time at both Arsenal and Chelsea. The man redefined the left-back position. Trent Alexander-Arnold gets massively disrespected. He's 23 years of age. He's already won every single possible club trophy that he could win at Liverpool. And he's still only 23 years of age. Did I mention that he's only 23 years of age? The man gets disrespected massively. And if you don't already have him in the all-time Premier League best 11, I think by the time his career finishes, this isn't even going to be a debate. Spurs will push for the title this season, and that comes from Bishley. I think they'll be competitive at the top end. I still see them as the best of the rest. I think realistically, it's going to be between Chelsea and Liverpool to try and push Manchester City for the title. I think Spurs will have a say in the title. Certainly, I rate the business that they've done. The job Conte's done there has been incredible as well. But to push for the title, I mean, it is Spurs. We have to remember that at the end of the day, like, it's Spurs. So even if they were top with 5 games to go, we're still talking about Spurs here. So yeah, I don't think they'll push for it, but I do think that they will once again get into top 4 and get Champions League football. This one comes from Michael Kennedy. Thank you, Michael. Richarlison will do well at Spurs. I don't know if he will or not. And I don't know if that is an unpopular opinion or not. Because as much as I dislike Richarlison, and I dislike him immensely, there's a footballer in there. And Antonio Conte, if he can unlock Richarlison and cut out some of this nonsense that he goes on with, surrounding himself with good quality players there, with Kane, with Son, with Kulusevski, I think he'll do okay. Like, will he live up to a £60 million price tag? I guess time will tell, but I don't think it's an unpopular opinion that he'll do well. I think he'll do okay because there's a footballer in there. Ruben Diaz is overrated. He's average, and that comes from Josh. I don't know if you even believe this, Josh, or if you're just trying to bait me, but he's probably one of the best of the rest after Virgil van Dijk, who was the world's greatest defender, the greatest centre-back to ever walk the face of planet Earth, certainly in the Premier League. Ruben Diaz overrated. No, I don't think he is. I think he has done a very good job since coming into that Manchester City defence. So I didn't put him in my team of the season because personally I thought Tony Rudiger was very impressive. But other than that, nah, he's not overrated. He's a very good defender. What's your most unpopular opinion? My most unpopular opinion is pretty well documented in that I don't think Paul Scholes belongs in the Gerrard Lampard debate. I think they're a class above. Um, Lampard's still not at the class of Gerrard, mind you, but I don't buy it. I think you'd have Vieira, Roy Keane's maybe in there for me before. So that's the hill I'm going to die on. So yeah, that's my unpopular opinion, I suppose. And that was just me asking people asking to leave them below. So there you go. Leave your unpopular opinions below and we may include you in the next video. Have I gone through them all? Oh, I've gone through them all. There we go. Job done. Boom. We love it. So yeah, if you want your unpopular opinion read out, leave them in the comment section and we might get to it in the next round of these videos. Maybe we'll spring one on Paddy or we'll spring one on Chris. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you watching. Take care. Bye-bye.